explained why airlines are worried about 5G rollout. New Delhi. Major international airlines are either rejigging their flight schedules to the US or canceling them altogether amid concerns over rollout of 5G mobile phone technology near US airport. Two US telecom giants, ATT and Verizon, had announced they would be activating their 5G networks from January 19. However, their decision received flak from airlines and aircraft manufacturers. As a result, the telcos had to agree to a partial delay in activating their 5G networks to allay airline safety concerns. On two earlier occasions as well, Verizon and ATT had delayed the launch of their new C-band 5G service due to warnings from airlines and aircraft manufacturers, concerned that it might interfere with instruments used to measure altitude. Why are airlines opposing? Airlines are majorly highlighting their safety concerns associated with 5G rollout. Aviation industry groups have raised concerns about possible interference with airplanes' radio altimeters, which can operate at the same frequencies, particularly in bad weather. Altimeters operate in the 4.2 to 4.4 GHz range. This is very close to the 3.7 to 3.98 GHz range that US auctioned to its mobile companies. In early 2021, the spectrum is known as C-band, and it was auctioned for about $80 billion. The issue is said to particularly impact Boeing 777 aircraft. The long-range wide-bodied aircraft is used by many carriers worldwide, especially Emirates, which only flies this model. US airlines have warned the directives could disrupt up to 4% of daily flights. Affected airlines. Several airlines have already decided to reschedule their flights to the US. Some have canceled them, while some airlines are opting for different model of aircraft. Emirates, All Nippon Airways, Japan Airlines, and Lufthansa have announced plans to switch away from Boeing 777 and Boeing 747-8 aircraft. A key carrier for east-west travel, Emirates has halted flights to Boston, Chicago, Dallas-Fort Worth, Houston, Miami, Newark, New Jersey, Orlando, Florida, San Francisco, and Seattle, but it will continue flights to Los Angeles, New York, and Washington. Air India has also canceled flights to Chicago, Newark, New York, and San Francisco. Korean Air, South Korea's biggest airline, switched 4 passenger planes from Boeing 777s to 787s and 2 cargo planes from 747-8s to 747-400s overnight, and will continue to avoid operating 777s and 747-8s at affected U.S. airports. Hong Kong's Cathay Pacific said it is deploying different types of airplanes where necessary to the affected airports, and that its flights to the U.S. have not been affected so far. Taiwan's EVA Air also said it had taken contingency measures to ensure flight safety, without elaborating. Lufthansa has substituted Boeing 747-400 aircraft instead of 747-800s on 3 flights from Frankfurt to Los Angeles, Chicago, and San Francisco, while canceling 1 connection from Frankfurt to Miami. Austrian Airlines swapped a Boeing 767 in place of a 777 for 1 flight from Vienna to Newark. What FAA said. The Federal Aviation Administration has already warned that potential 5G interference could affect height readings that play a key role in bad weather landings on some jets, and airlines say the Boeing 777 is among models initially in the spotlight. 5G interference with the aircraft's radio altimeter could prevent engine and braking systems from transitioning to landing mode, which could prevent an aircraft from stopping on the runway, the regulator had said. It will only allow planes with accurate, reliable altimeters to operate around high-power 5G, but planes with older altimeters will not be allowed to make landings under low visibility conditions. Altimeters measure how high a plane is in the sky, a crucial piece of equipment for flying, particularly at night or in bad weather. Late on Tuesday, the FAA had begun updating its guidance on which airports and aircraft models would be affected, in a move expected to dramatically lessen the impact of the nearly 1,500 notices of 5G restrictions issued by the regulator. Why frequency is important for 5G. A higher frequency band is very important in the spectrum. Higher the frequency, faster will be the service of the network. Hence, 5G operators want a higher frequency band so that they can get full value of the service. Some of the C-band spectrum auctioned had been used for satellite radio, but the transition to 5G means there will be much more traffic. Is the issue specific only to the US? The European Union Aviation Safety Agency, which oversees 31 states, said on December 17 the issue was specific to U.S. airspace. At this stage, no risk of unsafe interference has been identified in Europe, it had said. In 2019, the EU had set standards for mid-range 5G frequencies in a 3.4 to 3.8 GHz range, a lower frequency than the service set to be rolled out in the US. The bandwidth has been auctioned in Europe and is in use in many of the bloc's 27 member states so far without issue. FAA officials have noted the spectrum used by France sits further away from the spectrum used for altimeters in the United States, and France's power level for 5G is much lower than what is authorized in the United States. In South Korea, the 5G mobile communication frequency is 3.42 to 3.7 GHz band, and there has been no report of interference with radio wave since commercialization of 5G in April 2019. Wireless carriers in nearly 40 countries throughout Europe and Asia now use the C-band for 5G. with no reported effects on radio altimeters that operate in the same internationally designated 4.2 to 4.4 GHz band, CTA, a U.S. wireless trade group, said in a filing with the Federal Communications Commission.